Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? How are you today?
Great.
Okay, that's better. That's better. Keep this going. Keep this going. Welcome to the Chrome Developer Tools session. My name is Shay Friedman. I am a founder of a company called CodeValue, and what we do there is consultancy, training, everything software related, actually. I've been working on the web for roughly the last 15 years, ever since I was in school and I started working professionally. So I saw everything in the last 15 years, how the web got to where it is today. And what I want to tell in this 15 minutes that I have is not about how to write great code, because this is what you guys already do. But in my opinion, writing great code is not enough, because we all want to be better. We all want to be superstars. We all want to write the best software ever created. And the thing is that we can write great code, but if we really want to get to the next level, we need to be efficient. And in order to be efficient, we need to know everything that surrounds us, the ecosystem. And most of it is tooling. Because once we know the tools, we can become efficient. And if we become efficient, we have more time to get things right. Or even we can go home earlier and do what we really love and code some more. Right? So just to know you guys, how many here are web developers? Yeah, that makes sense, actually, that you all are. How many already use Chrome Developer Tools? That's good, that's good. Firebug or Firefox? Okay. IE Developer Tools? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Safari Developer Tools? Yeah, okay. Opera Developer? I don't know if they have developer tools. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. So this talk is about the Chrome Developer Tools, about the hidden features of Chrome Developer Tools, because the developer tools are awesome, but the UI and user experience of the developer tools can be better. Okay. So I'm here to show you some things that some of you might have missed. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to work on this amazing application that I built for this session. As you know, this is the Simpsons, and you can add people. And by the way, all of these heads are pure CSS. Look for Simpsons in CSS in Google. There is this crazy super talented guy that created these out of plain CSS. Of course, the background is not CSS, but only the heads. So you can take the heads and you can even throw them to the garbage and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna sell this one time if I get the chance. Anyway, so we're going to work on this site and see the developer tools through it. So first of all, let's add Homer. Now Homer probably had like a rough night. Maybe did some local booze that you have here, or maybe some meth. I don't know what he did, but something isn't right, and we want to fix him. So what do? We open the developer tools. Now they're already open. Let me just do this so we see that, and something like that would work. Okay, so we have Homer here. Now usually in order to open the developer tools you hit F12, or you can do right click, inspect, or even go here, more tools, developer tools. Okay, these are here all the time. Now usually let's do inspect. So we're opening the first thing here is the element stub, which shows us the HTML, right? And this is the current state of the HTML that the page has. And then we can investigate it. Now, usually you click inspect and then you scroll here and try to figure out where is this element that you want to work on. The thing is of course that you can do Control F or Command F in order to open this little thing here to find stuff. Now, usually what you would write would be, for example, I'm looking for characters. I would write characters, and then it would find the text, right? Text everywhere. And text is nice, but it's not always what I want. Usually I would want to find an element with this CSS class. So in order to do that, just for you to know, you can write CSS selectors here. So .character would give you all the all the HTML elements that apply to these CSS selector. So this is the first one. And actually I want the eye of Homer, so I know there is something called left eye, and I jump straight into that. By the way, in the last edition, in the last version of Chrome, they have this black thing above the element that you are on that tells you the selector for that and the width and height, so it's kind of cool. Anyway, so we are here. So let's remove this and see the styles. Now, we know that there is something with this red here. And what I usually see people do is they go here, and usually you have like tons of stuff going on there. So they do something like this. And this takes hours. Think about how much time you spend just doing this and looking for stuff. And you never find it at the first time, right? Never, never. You go this, oh, I didn't find it, go again. And then, oh, it's the first one. So there is this little thing here that nobody ever sees. Nobody. And it says filter right there. And it actually filters the list. Oh, wow. So just write red and boom, you're there, which is kind of great. So next time that you're doing this, feel bad inside and go write the filter. It will save you hours of your life. Anyway, what we usually do when we get here, we click on this and then try to give it a different color. Now, just like Thor has his hammer, you know, and Captain America has this stupid shield that does stuff for him. Never understood that. Anyway, every time that you see in the developer tools, you see a box, click it. Every time. They have superpowers. Every time, click it. So the first one is here, and let's start with shift and click. So I click and shift and click in this, and then you can go through all the representations of this color, which is cool. But even cooler, if you click on this superpowered box, you get a color picker, which is awesome. We have a color picker here, and then you can just look and see how Homer eyes are changing. And they even added in one of the last editions, they have presets. So you can have, for example, the page colors that they somehow understand, and the material design, if you're going with that, so you can click it, and then you get all the right colors here. And also, sometimes you have another color on your page that you want to pick. So once this color picker is up, you can go to the page and then pick a color from the page. So just click and it changes, right? So, okay, white is good. So this is this one, and now the filter, of course, works. So let's get rid of it. Cool, so this is the first thing. Now, when we hover on top of Homer, he moves, because there is this kind of little transition there. Now, when I showed it to someone who didn't know this, he was like, oh, yes, because I want to change how Homer behaves when someone hovers with the mouse on top of him. Now, you cannot do this because once you're inspecting Homer here, and you are hovering Homer, you can't go to the styles pane and try to change it. So of course, you have this pin here, right? Click it, and then you can force state. So you force the hover state, and then just go here, find whatever that is applied now, and use it. So let's change, I don't know, let's do it like 90. Oh, that's nice, okay. And I don't know, skew X sounds like a good idea. Ooh, yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's keep this. So now when you're done, just click and then see everything is applied, and it's awesome. Okay, now let's double click. Oh, now I'm double clicking him and nothing happens. So I have a bug, because what should happen? He should start doing loops, and he doesn't. So what we do, we go to the sources tab and start debugging. Now another thing I see people do, and I just can't stand, and I want to take them and never mind, is that we tend to have a lot of JavaScript files here. And then they start going through them, and they're like, oh, where is it? Where is it? And just like, you're sitting there like, okay, what? So stop doing that. Just never, ever use this. Never. It always should be closed. Because something that also nobody ever sees is that it actually says hit Command P to open a file. People work with this for years, never see this. It's amazing. It's psychological research that can be done on that, because it's just crazy. So hit Command P or Control P if you're on Windows, and Command P will just open all the files that are available and just start writing. And I know my file is named Cocter, and you can write part of the name and JS, for example, and you just find it, click enter, and you're there. Okay, so stop doing this to figure out where is the file in the tree. And also, stop doing this, right? Because when you get here, you're like, okay, where is my method? Okay, no, it's not here. It's not in line 2300. Let's go from the top. 5 hours just figuring out where functions are. So Command Shift P or Control Shift P will show you all the functions inside this file. So just find them, and I know it's something with double click. So just find them, enter, and you're there. Okay? Just saved you like 2 weeks of a year. Okay. Now I put a breakpoint here, and let's double click Homer, and I got here. Cool. Okay, so let's get into this, and I'm right here. Now I have this set timeout, and of course this doesn't work because this never happens. I never get this class. So I can hover on top of it, and it says, okay, set timeout is dummy set timeout. So that doesn't sound right, right? And by the way, you can go and click this to see where it is actually defined. So click it, then you get here and it says this is dummy set timeout only for testing. How many of you have put like testing stuff that should never got to production in production? Yeah, it happened to me, I know. Everybody like, yeah, it happens to me all the time. Not all the time, but sometimes. So this is just what happened here. I put dummy set timeout and passed it to this self-executing function, and this is not right. So I just want to change it right now to see that everything works. I can click escape in order to open the console just here. If you click escape again, it will close it. Okay, so escape. And let's just put stuff here, because this is what's great about JavaScript. you have the console, and it is now, while debugging, you have the same context. So you can change the context, and you can do whatever you want, and it just works. So it's awesome. So let's do this. Set timeout should be window.setTimeout. And enter. And let's close this and try to run this. And whoop, it actually works, which is great. And so I fixed the bug. Now, let me show you another thing here, just quick, cool thing. You can see that Homer is animating. And he's animating because there is an animation here. And there is an animation with this cubic Bezier line. Now, I have no idea what these numbers mean, but what I know is that when I see a box, I click it. And when I click it, it gives me an editor, which is awesome. You can just change it and see what happens. It shows you what would happen, and then you can change it and see how Homer circling is changing, which is awesome. Okay, going back here. Let's stop him, because then you'll watch this and never see me anymore. Everybody like, Homer. Okay, let's go here. So I have this character class, right? And this is when I add a new character, and this is what I get, a new character class that loads the character, which is nice. Now I want to console, to write this to console. So a lot of people do this, console.log, I don't know, adding a character, and plus this, because I want everything here, so I want to see everything about this. So let's try to add another one. So who do we want? Ichi, okay, Ichi. So now let's see here, and you can see that it says adding a character, object. I like this object, like this is an object of an object, which is a recursive thing. Awesome. But this doesn't, I don't care about object, I want the actual object. So every time you do this, remember that when you do this, it actually converts this object to string. And you get a string representation, which usually means object. Instead of doing this, just do this, okay? Now you will get the actual object. So let's look at that. Let's clear that. Let's add Krusty. Okay. So now we get this, okay? And we can actually investigate it and look into it, which is kind of nice. Just one thing to know about this. This line is actually the object when it was logged. But when you click it, it shows you the current object. So they might be different if you're doing that in a later stage of the development. So this one is the one when you logged, and this one is the current one. But this is much better than object. You must agree with me. Now, the next thing I want to show you, it might screw everything you know about logging in the console, and I'm sorry about that. Please don't use it in a bad way, and I know that you would. So I'm sorry about that in advance. So what I want to do, because it's kind of hard to see this adding a character, I want to make it stand out. So what we can do, we use this special %C here, okay? And what it allows me to do is to add another parameter here, which will allow me to add CSS styling. Everybody, oh yes, I'm going to do that. So let's do this, font size, 30px, color, I don't know, purple. Let's say that, and let's do font style, italic. Okay, and let's save that and try it again. So and let's add Lisa this time, and what we're having here. Okay, so and you can have multiple of those in one console log, and I'm sorry that I had to show you that. It's too awesome. Please use it wisely. Thank you. Okay, now I also want to know how many characters were added. Just in the console, I don't care about this in the actual code, but I just want to know how many characters were added. Now, usually what you would do, you would put some global variable somewhere and then increase it and write to log every time. The console API is so awesome, it gives you that already. So you can do console.count and say add in a character, okay? And then every time that you add a character, let's add Maggie, then it says add in character 1, and let's add another one, March, add in character 2. Okay, so now it's just increasing all the time, and you didn't need to write all this overhead code, which is cool. Another thing is that you can see already that I have a lot of logs written. And these consoles tend to become unreadable and then tend to become unreadable very, very, and maybe too fast. Okay, and then you just, why would you write logs if you can't read them? And then again, everybody starts like going through them, like let's add Burns here, and everybody like doing this. And they go through like a million lines of console logs, and it just, as you understand, I hate doing this. Okay, I try to avoid doing this in all costs. So, what can you do? There is a grouping capability in the console. So what we can say is console.group collapse. That will make it collapse when it starts. So group collapse, let's do adding a character. And let's even add this display name. Okay, so I'm adding a character for a group. Okay. Now I want to close this group when I finish loading the character, and I know it is right here. Okay, when I say it's done, so console.group group end will just close the group. So now, let's go back to the console. Whenever I add a new one, it just says like this. And I can open it, and it has everything, but it's so much better that I can understand what's going on and don't need to scroll through 1,000 lines of code. Cool. So, another thing, let's open site.js. And do this. Now, I have this, it's hidden. Okay, I have this here, and this actually make, just so you see, make everybody do this, which you can watch for hours. Not from experience, I watch it for hours. Anyway, I just want to show you this trick. So, I have this characters array, and I want to see what is inside this characters array. So, of course, we can write characters, enter, and then look at this hideous UI where you need to do this for every single one. I don't know who thought about this, but yeah, I don't want to say what. Anyway, there is this console table thing, which is awesome, because it just shows it like this. For humans, this is for humans. This is not for humans. This is for humans. Now, it gets even better, because here you might have, right now I only have like 3 properties for each item. But what can happen is that you might have like a gazillion amount of properties, and then this table might not be very nice. So what you can do also is say console.table characters, just like we did, but you can also pass it a string array where you say, I want ID and display name only. I don't care about the rest. I don't care about element, for example. I just don't care about it, and enter. And you get only the columns that you need. Now, it gets even better, because what you don't know is that this thing here, you can sort it. Okay? This is awesome, right? You never thought that would be a possibility, right? So, yeah, you can. As I told you, the DevTools team is awesome, but they're not good at UI and UX. They're just not good at that. Okay. So, last thing about the console. Let's continue this and stop this, because again, you will not be able to look at anything else. Let's go back here. Now, I want to know how much time it takes to load a character. Now, usually again, to know this, you would go with profiling, which is nice, but very, very hard to read. Or you would put something like a global date time, something like that, save it, and then when you want to know how much time has passed, you will just take the current date time and subtract from the date time that you had and do all of this, which is what I call not so fun work. I like to work with things that I like and not write things that I don't like. So I think you guys do too. So what you can do again, you can use the console API for that. So you can do console.time. Say adding character, and this is when the timer will start ticking. And then go to where it ends, which is right here, and say console.time and adding a character. Now, it has a name here when you start and end, because you can have multiple timers. So let's see that I wrote it the same. No, this one is with the capital A. So, cool. So now, when we go here, let's clear this, and let's add meters. You can see adding character took 49 milliseconds. And this is just awesome, because you don't need to do a lot of uncool stuff yourself. Now, regarding the sources here, you saw that I didn't actually go to the file itself to change it. I changed it here. What I did is Command S or Control S in Windows. And what it does, it adds this little thing here and this little thing here. And these guys say, this has changed. It is only in memory. And everything works with what you have changed. But once you refresh, it's all gone. So don't write all your software here. And yeah, that's not going to be fun at all. So once you're done, you can do multiple things. First thing, you can just right-click and save as. Save as will allow you to save this to your file, to an actual file on your hard drive, and then you can just save it, and then that's it. You can also click here, local modifications, to see everything that was changed. So if we click here, you can see this, and then you can go and see what you added, where you added it, and go through all of these changes and understand what you did and maybe apply it to your file. This also works for CSS, so you see here site CSS. So you can see all the changes that we have done to the CSS. So you can see this as well. There is another thing. I'm not going to go into that, but you can actually map your files from here to a local folder, which is done by this, add folder to workspace. And then what Chrome will try to do is every time that you save a file here, like just save, it will save it to a file in your local folder, which is nice. So you can go either way. Okay, last but not least about here, it's not actually something of the developer tools, it's just something that is helpful. Sometimes you need to write, you need to implement a design. Now, designers have this tendency to pass you the perfect world. For example, they have this space for a name. Now, they will choose the name that fits best. And they don't care about people who have longer names. And then when you have a longer name, you're like, what do you do then? And they're like, oh, figure out, I don't care. So what you should do usually, you should try your design implementation and see if it fits to longer text or shorter text. What you can do, you can go and do document.body.content editable equals true. When you do that, it makes everything in your page editable. So you can go here, for example, and start typing. Now, this is really cool because it can save you a lot of time, because then you can don't need to change a file or something like that. But of course, now I showed you how to save a lot of time, right? I'm going to show you how you can spend it. So you can go to, for example, something like that, right? Open it. Let's, okay, this is good, this is good. And do this again, okay? And just close it, forget you even did it. And Donald Trump, focus. Fanatic campaigning a new home feature for Chrome DevTools. Yeah, and it's hours, I tell you. I tried it. It's like you never stop. This is what you actually do with it. You don't really test for longer or shorter text. Amazing that it comes. It's in the middle of. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so. Sources, and let's also again put this here and click this. Now, when we stop on a breakpoint, you have the call stack here, right? And this is a nice call stack because this is a very small application, and I have like one file. But usually, you would have like your file and a gazillion other files. May be jQuery or Angular or React or whatever that you're using, but your actual code will be like 2 lines out of like a dozen. And I like jQuery, I like Angular, I like all of these frameworks, but I don't care about them. I don't want to debug them. It's the last thing on earth that I care about, to debug jQuery. So what I can do, I can just take them all away from here. Just click on the ones that you're not interested at and say black box script. When you do black box script, it just hides them. So it tells you, I'm hiding 2 stack frames. Okay, hide, whatever. But this is all I care about. This is my code. And this is a very nice thing to just show you what you're actually interested at and not jQuery, Angular, whatever. That you're not interested in. you can actually do this from here as well, from this thing. I know I told you not to open it, but you can, just for it, you can just right click here and say black box script, if I didn't lie to you. It used to be here, so you can, don't open it. Okay, I told you from the beginning, don't open it, so don't. Anyway, so this is a way. I think you can do it from here. Stop black box, yeah. So you can stop black boxing also from here, and you can also black box from here. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. Next thing I want to show you is settings. Okay. Every time, this is a, let's continue this. No, sorry, stop doing that. Okay. Every time that you go to a new platform, new browser, a new whatever, just open the settings. Try it out. Try it out. Look what you have there, because you will find really interesting stuff. So this is the settings that, of course, you cannot see. So let's do this. So this is the settings. Just go through them. I'm not going to go through all of them. But the first thing that you need to do whenever that you install Chrome is open the developer tools, open this settings, and look here and make sure that this checkbox is checked. What this means is whenever that the developer tools is open and you refresh, it actually disables the cache, so you get a new version from the server all the time. And I'm not sure if this is default checked, so just make sure it is like this, because I can't even count how many hours humanity has lost for cached items, right? You do something, you go and try it out, you see it doesn't work, you go back, you fixed what you already fixed, you go back, try it out, doesn't go, and you keep doing that, but you never actually tried the new code that you wrote. So just make sure. Now, if you're crazy like me, and you're not actually believing that the cache is not disabled, while DevTools is open, if you go to this and click and hold, you get this. So you have a normal reload, which is normal reload. You have hard reload. But if you're like, no, I don't want normal, I don't want hard, I want empty cache and hard reload, which is like the hardest reload. Just go and do that, and then you're okay. By the way, what empty cache and hard reload does is it actually empties all the cache. Hard reload doesn't empty for images or stuff like that. So empty cache and hard reload actually empties everything and reloads everything, which is kind of nice. So I'm going back here to the settings. One cool thing that I want to tell you, go here, there's this console, and click on show timestamps. This will just, once you do this, and you go to the console, that's console log something, it tells you the timestamp, which is kind of nice, and it doesn't cost you anything. Just go settings, console right there, and show timestamps, and that's it. And it's just there, and why not? Now, another nice thing about the developer tools is that they advanced very, very fast. Like, every time I do this talk, I need to understand if it still exists or everything still works like I thought it would, because they change everything all the time, which is good because they're advancing. It's progress. However, there is a lot of things in their experiment stuff. Now, you need to have a flag, like there is this thing that you need to write. I don't remember, just go Google it, or and for how to make experiment stuff show up. It's 1 second, right? And then you get this, and there are a lot of cool things here. Some of them, because it's experimental, it doesn't work at all. Like, really, why would you put it here? I don't know. Some of them really doesn't work, but some of them are awesome. For example, in the last 1.5 year thing, I've been using the custom UI themes. So you just take this, you look for custom UI, Chrome DevTools custom UI themes in the internet, download whatever that you like, and then just close DevTools, open it again, and you get it like this. And this is black, it's mysterious. It's cool. It's mysterious and cool. That's so me. So, so you can have others as well. So just do this. I'm gonna take this because you can see it. You can see it actually. It looks nice, right? So mysterious. Anyway, just open it again and it's good. Okay. Two last things. So we have this guy here that emulates mobile phones. So you can open this and then you say, okay, I want an iPad, and it shows you how iPad looks like, and you can click here to change landscape, portrait, stuff like that. The cool thing about it is it actually emulates touch. So you can check if your application works with touch correctly. Of course, it's an emulator, so don't think it's the same thing as running on a device, but it's as close as it gets. Now, one thing that a lot of people miss, because this is really cool, but there's another cool thing, is this network here. Okay, just click the configure that network, okay? You can see it. And what it does, it opens this thing. Now, you see network throttling? Usually you test your application on your machine. And this works great because you don't have latency of the network, and you don't have to wait for anything. But your users, they will. So you can say, okay, I want to try this on a good 2G experience, and just refresh. By the way, it's refreshing. It's still refreshing. Okay, now we're refreshing, and you can immediately see that there is a problem with this background image because it's about 1 megabyte in size, so it's a problem. But you immediately spot it, and just never try GPRS. You will you will never get it on. Yeah, you can try this. You can add your own. If you say I know the specific network that I'm on, you can try this, and you can also try offline, so you can see how your application operates in offline mode. Now, another cool thing with this, by the way, if you don't change this, and even if you close DevTools, it's still on. So disable it. I think it was an hour of my life, and I was like, oh, what? Why is everything so slow? Yes. Anyway, another cool thing in regards to this as well, and not just, is the timeline. I'm not going to speak about everything about the timeline because it's an entire new talk, but let me open it like this. They added in one of the last versions, they added this here, screenshots, which is awesome. Click on it, and then reload. And let's see how it looks like. I think it's still reloading. So let's wait. So yeah, it loads, right? Let's just stop this because we don't have all the time in the world. And what you get is this. See, you can see how your website loads through the timeline, and it's awesome because then you can see, oh, this loaded, but this didn't, and you can understand what happened. It's a really cool idea, and it's one of the latest additions to DevTools. Okay. Last thing that I want to show you. Yeah, let's stop this. Is the network tab, just to show you this. And you know what? Let me know. Let's stop this and stop this. Okay. So let's try this on the JFocus site, right? Well, this loaded pretty quick. Maybe they did a good job. Let's reload. And you can see here right away that they actually did a good job. It's less than a second. Oh, good job, JFocus. It always like gazillion amount of time. Because, never mind. But you can see everything here, right? You can see all that goes on. Now, what I want to show you, one thing in particular, is that sometimes you need to know what happened in the QA. For example, one of the testers, they find something, and then it's not reproducible, right? And then the QA is like, oh yes, I found something that is not reproducible, because these are, you know when it's going to reproduce on your biggest client on the demo day. So what you want to know is how to fix non-reproducible bugs. So you can go here, right-click, and save as HAR with content. Now once you click it, just save it. It saves like a har, whatever, and save it. Now, what you can do, sorry, let's go here. Wait, okay. There is this har analyzer. Just look for har analyzer. It's from Google. You take your file and open it, and what you get is this thing. You can see everything that you saw in the content tab. You can click on everything here and get to see what was sent and what was retrieved. And if there was an error, you can see it as well. So you can try to reproduce the bug. And I know as a developer that there is nothing beats maybe a newborn child that was born. Nothing beats the feeling of fixing a non-reproducible bug, right? So, yes, probably think, oh, this guy's totally crazy. Anyway, so let's do this, and here. So, how much time? We have like 2 minutes. Do you have questions? Everybody like, what did happen here? Okay, yes.
So this is, of course, Chrome-specific console stuff. If I put it in my code, it will break if I run somewhere else.
The console API, you mean? The console API is Chrome-specific, but I'm pretty sure most of them use roughly the same API. So yeah, it is Chrome-specific, but just check because I think most of it is implemented everywhere. That's it. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so what I want to say is that this was Chrome Developer Tools. Of course, it wasn't everything. There is a lot to learn. You can just go and look for Chrome Developer Tools documentation. There is a documentation out of Google, which is kind of awesome. And as I said before, it's not enough to just write code or write good code or write awesome code. You need to know everything around it. You want to be a superstar. You want to be efficient, and you want to go home, drink beer while writing more code. And this is what you want to do. And the next level is to know the tools. This is just the beginning. Go and explore more. I hope you have a great conference. Thank you very much for being here.